Yeah, I mean, can I stand up a little bit?
Please,
I
go
was
ahead,
sitting
yes.
we are confronted with two issues. The one is the M&A side, the mergers and acquisitions, where Iranian companies are looking for investors, be it financial investors or industrial investors. A big topic where everything we have heard this afternoon could not be more appropriate, and I can only say, please do integrate what has been said. One of the reasons that projects don't get financed, in our belief, is because many are simply not investor ready. And if I can quantify many, I would say 80% or 90%. It's just, if you look from the smallest to the biggest project. Now, the other big topic is trade. And trade is the issue of financing, and there comes in the issue of rates. Now, we saw maybe international money is cheaper. But if I decide to come to Iran, I also see what are the Iranian conditions. And I see that I get 15% in the bank account. Now, why would I give a loan for 3 or 4% to anybody and take an entrepreneurial risk? So I would recommend just apply common sense to it. Why would someone do something that is basically silly? Now, if we bring this to the financing, how to finance an importer, we have failed in that. We have not found a way to finance an importer. But you finance the exporter, because if you ship bicycles from Italy to Iran, the bicycle doesn't mind if you find the exporter or the importer, the bicycle just wants to get there. There are funds now in Liechtenstein and in other places. Liechtenstein is a little country between Austria, we saw, and Switzerland. And there is an initiative which we are building up for 200 million to help exporters to ship their goods to frontier markets, which includes Iran. Now, 200 million can be financed in two ways now. Either with an export credit insurance, so the exporter sells to the fund his invoice, and the investor has a quasi-sovereign guarantee. The simpler system, which we're trying to put in place for this company, is that we take a letter of credit from Iran as a guarantee. So if you can provide a bank statement or a guarantee or letter of credit, this could help on the trading side. So this is probably my most important comment on financing, because it's all about trade. A lot is about trade.
So you said 200 million, if I want to buy bicycles from Italy, you can finance it.
In this case, it's very big bicycles we are working on.
Thanks, Andreas.
Yeah.
Amin, we've been talking for 1 year now. Yeah. I think you're one of the innovative guys here and investing. Tell us about, we talked about dual listing, and things you're planning to do. Tell us why you want to do it, actually.
Actually, many Iranian companies need financing from equity or actually debt. If it could be dual listed in a foreign market, we could have capital raising in euro-based, and this kind of financing could help us in different ways. Not just money, also we could have a good access about the technology. And it is so important for, I think, many Iranian companies. Not just about money, but also about the technologies and soft skills.
Yeah. By dual listing, right? Yeah. Okay. Have you already managed to dual list?
Yeah, as you know, we are about 1 year we are talking about this issue, but there are many problems. We have talked about auditing issues, IFRS, we have talked about rating.
Right.
And also I would like to add legal issues. Also it is so important that we should manage different legal issues, and also about some other problems from international investment banking. For example, if you want to have underwriting services, things like that. So all these kind of issues together makes it very hard to, progress.
Understand. Yeah. Kian, you tell us. 2 years Iran experience.
Sure.
Tell us the good things and the bad things quickly.
Well, it's equal of both. To give a bit of background, we was investing for nearly 10, 12 years in Central Asia. So these are countries which arguably are much more difficult to invest in than Iran. The opportunity around for us was simply amazing, and it's been a great process. What we've tried to do as much as possible is make our investors comfortable.
Surgeon capital.
That's correct.
Yes, exactly.
Make investors comfortable with investing in Iran. The opportunity set is clear. Now, we do this for a number of different ways, and it's probably relevant to a lot of Iranian companies here as well. So one issue that has been talked about a little bit is sanctions. One thing that we do is we have an independent company which provides a sanctions report on each company that we invest in.
Okay.
That then goes to a US lawyer who used to actually draft sanctions against Iran to then sign off that this is a company is
You should know
available
how
for us to
sanctions
invest.
work. Okay.
We then have KPMG as auditors, we have different services, and this is basically just, if you look at Iran, essentially you have a country where there's the biggest gap between perception and reality. And the job of companies and us as investors is to bridge that gap. And you can only do that by providing transparency, by giving more information, which is what we're trying to do.
Got it. Kian, what is that investment? Investing what? In shared entities in Iran and Tehran Stock Exchange?
So,
What
I mean,
is-
85% of the focus of our fund are listed equities. We have about 10% fixed income, and the rest is a pocket for crazy stuff, which was VC investments, pre-IPOs,
Yeah.
these sort of deals.
Yeah. Is there anything that already happened? Any investments that you can talk about that already happened in Iran?
Not really, but what we're trying to do at the moment is, if you look at the structure that we have now, is a fund structure.
Yeah.
Now, like I said, for a lot of investors, they're attracted to Iran, but they're looking for the easiest way to invest. And if you look at outside of Iran, there's not a single stock which anyone can buy to get exposure to the country. So what we've been trying to do is list a holding company or investment vehicle where anyone could buy from their brokerage account abroad and get full exposure to Iran.
Got it. Yeah.
And that's what we've been focusing on for now.
Yeah. I mean, one question came up here during the conference, sovereign wealth guarantee, basically an investor wants to see some kind of guarantee from the Iranian side, What's your thought on that? Is that the only way we have in Iran to guarantee a deal?
Actually, unfortunately, it is an issue that usually arises from the foreign investment side.
Yeah.
They ask us to provide them sovereign actually guarantee. But there is some other issues. For example, at the present, we are working with one of our petrochemical companies to issue a bond based on their international receivables. We could set up a kind of SPV, and then they get the receivable notes from an international buyer and issue the bond based on the rating of that buyer, not
Correct.
the Iranian company.
Yeah.
So there is some ways to actually change the way and get rid of these kind of issues. But if we want to get money inside of the Iran, is exactly the problem that we face. But we can change the question and go out and issue the bond based on international receivables and notes.
Based on international receivables. It was a petrochemical case, I think it was, right?
Usually in Iran, we have many petrochemical products.
Right.
Which
Yeah,
have
exactly.
international buyers. So in this case, it's a petrochemical company.
Exactly, yeah. Andreas, trade receivable fund, can you explain that a little bit? I want to buy very big bicycles from Italy. Can you explain the concept a little bit more for us? I'm not too technical, we're all tired, just quickly how it works.
The concept is very simple. It's the exporter that sells the invoice to Iran to an investor. So you buy your invoice for 10,000 euros. The fund buys that maybe at a discount of 3-4%, and then there could be even a financing of 30, 60, 90, 180 days attached, or not at all, that depends. That does various things. The exporter does not have to deal with a payment from Iran, so the whole banking problem, which many of the exporters face, especially Switzerland or the UK, to cite two really complicated cases, don't have that. The importer, and this is really the only way I see that an Iranian importer can benefit from foreign rates through that, And so it's not all that fund wants to know from the importer is a contact number whom to talk to at the exporter. It's really not your problem as the importer. You just help the exporter to get it done or the fund to get it done. So it's a very simple system, which in a way has nothing to do with Iran anymore,
Correct.
because also the risk is a European risk for the investor. If you sell something out of Germany with Euler Hermes or Switzerland with self-export credit, you have OECD government-backed risk, which makes it a very attractive case for an investor, especially in times of very low interest rates.
Got it. Yeah. So if I'm an importer in Iran, can I come and talk to you and help me do this trade receivables
Yes,
fund thing?
we can help, of course, and it's all a question of volume now.
Yeah.
Certain projects might be easier. You just go, often we say, if someone sends something for a small amount, it's better to sell it to an agent. You might give away 20% of the problem, but you give away 20% of your margin, but you give away 100% of the problem.
Exactly.
So it's a good deal if you are a small exporter. If you are a larger exporter, and mainly the people who come to us at the moment are fairly large company, mid-sized, large SME companies who have regular volume to industrialize products here in Iran. But also if there is something for 100 or 200,000 to import, one could do it as well. It's, we look at everything more or less. There's just at the end a question of cost. The smaller the transaction, and I think there are people here in the room or I read who deal with small transaction also in a cost-efficient way. So the art is really to find the right system for the right transaction.
Got it. Yeah.
Andreas will always find a solution for anything. So if you go to him, he can be very helpful.
Fantastic. Kian, I mean, Andres, you're of course Swiss, but you're in UK now, London-based. Kian, you're both Iranian, London-based. We've been into our KPMG UK firm talking to banks, you know, it's sometimes frustrating. We talk to London Stock Exchange, it's also sometimes frustrating because it's always like, what is your experience or view? Is anything good going to come out of UK? Like, you know, you're the financial hub of Europe?
So, I mean, we're a UK firm, we're regulated by the UK.
Right.
We were pursuing for a while trying to do a listing in London. The situation we had is we got the regulatory approval from London.
Yeah.
And whilst we've spoken to the ambassador, the UK Trade Commission, and they're pushing a lot for the exchange to do their own business, unfortunately they have a lot of US exposure and they're not willing to take on their own business at the moment. I've heard through the grapevine that some UK banks are looking and starting doing transactions for Iran. But as it stands, continental Europe is much more open to the idea of trading and doing business with Iran.
That's also our continental experience, like Switzerland, Austria, German-speaking countries. Huh? I mean, just you know, we also have pension funds in Iran. We have investment banks. Of course, they're not the size of, you know, the European ones or the American ones. Do you see any potential to do, like, I don't know, project financing, you know, through Iranian sources?
Actually, we have a huge potential for attracting project financing from European companies. There are many projects, private or public, and it seems that there is some other economical problems. You know what I mean? Okay. Because based on figures, ROI, and even bankable feasibility studies, we have many projects that they are profitable, but at least to me, it seems that there is some kind of hesitations from European investors to be sure about more issues than just economic issues.
I see. Okay. All right. Got it. Yeah.
And also about the, for example, public investments. I know the different ministries, for example, have different summits. They invite foreign investors in oil industry, in other ministries, but we still see the hesitation from the European investors.
Got it. Yeah.
But also we have some good signs. For example, we have some finances from France. For example, Total is here now, or China, Russia. We have this kind of investments.
Very nice. Yeah, very nice. Guys, maybe one of the last questions. We want to wrap up and go have some drinks, and we're all thirsty and hungry. Andreas, Kian, what is the level that, I've seen deals here talking about 15 million, it's a $15 million solar plant, 10 millions, and then there are some things out there, a Norwegian firm, which is a two-man firm I read last night, people are talking about 4 billion, which I sometimes don't believe. What is your guys' view? What is actually the deal size where direct investment is actually coming to Iran? What is your best feeling? What is
more
true?
a philosophical comment. I have never been in a country where I heard so many billions than in Iran.
Yeah.
Every deal, there is no deal which we could afford, for example. And I'm not talking billions in reals or 2 euros, sort of, serious stuff. But on the solar panel, of course it's a hype, but it's a great thing. Yes, Quercus does with 500 million. We know them quite well. I mean, at the end, the proof of the pudding is in its eating. The proof of the pudding in this case is in the building of the solar plant, and I would say a lot that has been announced might not happen, a lot will happen. But we are just putting together, if you allow me one comment on
Please.
the type of investments. We saw it with the Trade Finance Fund, we are just putting together a clean tech fund for Iran, for solar, for water, for wind, and waste to energy. You need to give the investor a tool. We are, as our friends from Sturgeon, we're also FCA regulated by the British, so we have to stick to very clear guidelines. A fund is a wonderful vehicle to invest in Iran for a foreigner, because he invests in an EU regulated system, and he will never finish his compliance coming with a foreign direct investment, except you have gurus like my friend Kian, who does it from morning to evening with a whole team of people, but not everybody has that. So we try to push foreign investments through funds. And that's what Sturgeon does, what we will do, and we believe that. And today, there are enough opportunities to get money in and out of Iran in a very legal way, but not if you say, I always dealt with HSBC, I also want to deal for Iran with HSBC. This simply will not work. You have to be a bit more creative and take these puzzle pieces and put them together in another way. You need to have a bit of fantasy and a bit of time and good nerves to deal with Iran.
But
Good attitude for Iran, yes.
Just very quickly on that, the solar is a perfect example of how an investment should be formed. So if you say it's a function of 3 things, one is the return you will get, the security you get, and the capacity with which the country needs it. Solar and renewable energy meets all of this. So with solar, you get government guarantees of returns.
Sure.
It's something that the country needs. And there's a lot of capacity which can be implemented. And that's why you're seeing the large deal sizes. In other sectors, you don't have these 3 factors which come together to allow for larger money to be allocated towards it.
Exactly. There's. Thanks a lot for being here. I would say we just wrap it up here. Amir, thanks a lot. We're going to look forward to you with the most innovating guy in the financial sector. I want to see the first dual listing by you, or I will be disappointed. Andreas, thanks for being here. I think you live in Nia Varan, I heard, so you love not only the food, but also the city. Kian, we want to see you more often here. We will stay in touch. I will just wrap it up and thank everybody, our audience, and you guys flying all the way from London to us. Florian from Austria, Scope, Thorsten from Berlin. Just want to wrap it up, and we just want to have some drinks upstairs on the first floor. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kava.
Thank you.
Thank you.